Hello everyone, my name is NBA Malaka and welcome to Banyana Ba Skolo. This is my baby podcast. I was not a baby podcast, but like my baby, my podcast that I've been working on for the past, I want to say almost 3 years. And I've just been playing with ideas of which direction it's supposed to go in. I've known for this amount of time that I wanted to do podcasting, because I don't know if you know me, but for those who do know me, I used to have a YouTube channel with some of my best friends, and that dissolved at the end of varsity. And we also did do a bit of online radio during that time as a group, and I also worked individually in radio as well, and I did campus radio at VOW FM, and then me and my friends also worked together at Azania Digital Radios. So the idea of being behind a mic is nothing absolutely new to me. It's always been in my blood, yeah. And when podcasting became popular, I knew that I wanted to be part of the movement, but I didn't know which direction the content that I would be creating would go in. And I think I also did not want to rush that process, because it's one thing to want to be part of something because it's trending or whatever the case might be, but it's a whole other thing to want to be part of something and know that you want to create a really big impact. And that's what I was gunning for, and that's why it's taken me so much time to get to this point. My podcast has been through so many name changes, through so many content ideas, and it just kept on changing, and it didn't feel right. Like, it's not my first time sitting down and saying, hi everyone, welcome to my podcast. It is not. It is probably the millionth time. It's just that every single time I've tried and I've listened to the content that I was creating, I talked myself out of it because it did not feel right. Like, what I was saying, I don't think it was not going to be impactful, but it did not feel right at all. I just don't know how to explain that to you. And now I find myself at this point where I'm like, I found what I need to be doing with this platform. And how I found it is also much related to what I've already been doing in my community with my mom. So for those who do not know me, I am an artist at heart, okay, but also professionally. And right now I'm freelancing, and being a freelancer is a lot of work. It's a lot of admin, and you do have gaps within your working periods of free time. And so when I graduated in 2020, it took a bit of time for me to get a job, and so around that time my mom started doing some community work. 2021 actually, yeah, because I finished November 2020 and then I moved back home December of 2020, but obviously like my schedule of being at home started in 2021, and at that time I was also going through a whole lot on my own, so I really was not in the space to be out there like that. But at that time my mom started planting the idea in my mind, saying that there's so many kids in our community who don't necessarily have a lot of things to be doing. And because she had started teaching them English classes at that time, I would engage with them as well every now and then. And during the holidays, she was like, why don't you start teaching them ballet? Or why don't you do some acting classes with them? Like, just so that you're also keeping busy and not just sitting and twiddling your fingers and waiting for a job and low-key becoming depressed about it, And I definitely fought my mom for the longest time about that. I just wasn't interested. But I think the more time I spent with the kids, the more I also realized that, they also started to touch my heart in a way. And I was like, okay, fine. At some point, we started with the ballet classes during their June holidays. Cannot remember if it was 2021, 2022, 2023. But somewhere along the line, I do know that I started with the ballet classes, and that became a thing. And so we had this beautiful ecosystem of the children coming over for English classes on certain days and other days coming over for ballet classes. And we've built a really beautiful community, my mom and I, with the children in our community. And it's just been so amazing to be part of something so impactful for the kids and even for us, I do come from a family of educators. My grandparents were teachers, principals. I come from a home where skolo has always been part of my life. and also my grandparents themselves were also really big community members. So this house that I live in has basically been a community hall my entire life. There are moments where that is really stressful, you know what I mean, because you do feel like, okay, wait, my space, my home, our time. But when you also pay attention to the assignment that your family has when we are here on this earth, then certain things start to make a little sense to you. Right, so now that brings me that brings me to how we got to Banyana Ba Skolo. I took my children, right, and as I've said, this has been a couple of years of us working with the children, and obviously most of them started in primary school level and others much younger. So our oldest group when we started was around grade 4, grade 5, you know, they were coming up the ranks. And now that it's been a couple of years, a lot of those girls are now in high school. And then obviously we have a lot of their younger siblings and a lot of other kids who have joined the cohort, and those are still in primary school. And what I've realized is that because this is our first group of girls in high school, it is becoming a lot more challenging to keep them with us. When children are much younger, they are more open to engaging in things that are keeping them busy, keeping them off the streets, like ballet, like the English classes. But now that they're in high school, they've become cool girls. And because they've become cool girls, they're too cool for school, right? So a lot of them don't come for the English classes anymore. A lot of them don't come for ballet anymore. We've honestly just lost a lot of the older girls. And that is really concerning for me. I mean, we still have a bunch of the younger ones, which is amazing. But I'm realizing that in order for that not to happen again with the younger ones, something needs to happen. And I'm realizing it's because they're in their adolescent stage that there is that disconnect. I mean, I was a teenager myself once, so I'm not going to be oblivious to the fact that when you are a teen, you're finding yourself, and there's certain things that you feel like you're too cool for now, and you're cool enough for that, and you know, but it is also very important for you to have some guidance when you are walking that journey. And unfortunately, the environment that I come from, it's a township environment, and I think we are all aware of what a lot of our townships look like and how they impact children growing up in those spaces. So there's not a lot of guidance. Yes, the children all live in homes, they have parents, but all of these families have different dynamics, and not all of them are being looked after and guided in the same way. Also within their schools are very limited when it comes to the resources and things like that. So the kids don't have a lot of guidance. They don't have a lot of people to look up to. They don't have a lot of aspirations and dreams, or maybe they do, but they just don't know how to actualize them and work towards that. And that has become a really big problem. And it is it's getting under my skin. I'm so sorry. I don't know if this mic is sitting in the right place. I'm so sorry. I'm pretty sure like whoever's been watching is like, no, why is the mic under your chin? I'm so sorry. I think it's in the better place now. Yeah, so that's how we ended up here, because I'm looking at the girls in my community. And it's not even just school, you know. I think school definitely is my biggest worry, but you also look at other things. Grooming, like the girls are older now, you're in high school, you know, so a lot of you have also started menstruating. There's certain ways that you need to be looking after yourself, and now you're in that stage where you're starting to engage with boys. There's certain things that you need to know in order to protect yourself, and just all of those conversations that should be happening when people are teenagers, right? So I just looked at the girls in my community and I'm like, this is a problem in my community. How many townships do we have? More South Africa, it's a lot, you know. So how many of our black girls, I want to say also maybe colored and Indian girls, I'm not too sure about the white girls, but this is definitely a space that is open to everybody, you know. I don't want to discriminate against everyone, but I'm just looking at my environment and thinking about environments that are also similar to mine, and how girls in those spaces are affected, and how maybe we can rail it back in so that the girlies can find a bit of direction, right? So that's how I ended up with Banyana Ba Skolo. And I figured if I am going to be creating a platform online, I want to be engaging with young girls. I want to be giving them advice on how to attain their goals, chase their dreams, and I want to give them advice on how to become more confident and love themselves and everything else in between. So that is how we ended up here with Banyana Ba Skolo, and I really want you to come on this journey with me, stay with me, because this is going to be a very impactful, important platform for the young girlies, you know, because there's a lot going on online for Bafazi and Basadi, and that's my age group and older, okay? That's my age group and older. I'll push it down and I'll say 25 plus, you know. But you high schoolers, early 20 girlies, you're not part of that group. Love you loads, my girls, but you're not part of that group. Like, that is just not for you. You need to be focusing on other things being skolo, number one. Because in this country of ours, in this economy of ours, my babe, the only thing that is saving you from your current life is school. And you need to start taking it a lot more seriously than you do. And if you think you are taking it seriously, I need you to kick it up a notch, because there's other girls who are taking it as seriously as you. So do you see the level of competing that you're at? Which is another thing that we will get into throughout the season. But yeah, this was me just wanting to introduce myself and let you know why I've decided to build this beautiful platform. And I really hope that you come on this journey with me, and you know, let's build a community of Banyana Ba Skolo, because Banyana Ba Skolo, I will stand on it. Banyana Ba Skolo, academic validation it's good. It's good because it emancipates you, and it's good because it builds your character, and it's good because it just, girl, like, I don't know what I'm a firm believer in school. I believe in school. So yeah, that is me, and this is Banyana Ba Skolo, and I cannot wait for the first official episode. You see, I'm already fired up. I could talk for the rest of like the day, but I hope you really enjoyed this intro video. Thank you so much for tuning in. Please do subscribe. Please do follow the socials, and please just look out for what's coming. You know, I am at the beginning of this, but bear with me. Let's build it together. Okay, thank you and bye. Oh, and don't forget Banyana Ba Skolo. Bye.